Hello and welcome to another edition of Money and You. And today we are actually talking about concerts. If they're safe, watching them live, or maybe it's better to just watch them from home,
Hmm.
you know? And also, we're going to discuss, obviously, which is our normal discussion, the price behind this. I'm just going to bring up our co hosts. Ishi? Hello,
Hi,
Ishi.
hi guys, how are you?
Hello, hello,
Hi, Mona.
hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Very, very good. Ishi, this is something that you actually brought up. So I think I will put the floor to you to talk a little bit about this, whether concerts are safe in person or whether it's just better to watch them from home, in the comfort of your home. And then we also talk about, our usual thing is, is it economical to actually be there and, what's the buzz about that?
Yeah, okay. Thanks for letting me talk about this. So, after the recent tragedy which happened at Astroworld, which happened in Houston, Texas. So that's where there was this there was this lineup performing, and they were like kids right from the age of 9 to adults up to the age of 30, 35, who were like going to see their favorite concert. And then what happened was, basically the concert was so mismanaged that actually 8 people lost their lives, and there were like hundreds of people who was injured. So after reading that, it really shook me that me and Kay are always the kind of people who like to attend these music
Of
festivals and
concerts.
concerts and
Mm,
see these artists live, and have enjoy the buzz around it. But we never even stop and think about the fact that it can actually turn deadly, and this is what
that's
happened
right,
in the
yeah.
States. Yeah. So people go there to have fun, to just chill out, to unwind, and have a good time. But there was actually an incident where the crowd couldn't be managed, and because of that, I think there was a specific term which was used, due to which people died. So basically, what happened was, the people who were standing at the back, they started pushing the people in the front when I
Oh
think
my
Travis
God.
Scott came on the stage. And
Mhm.
basically what happened were, the people who were in the front, they had nowhere to escape. And basically there was a wave which started from the back, which came in the front, and the people who were in the front, they basically died of suffocation. So
Oh my
they
God.
couldn't breathe, and basically their lungs were squeezed. So they, apparently it says that it was like one of the worst way to die, because you died standing, and it was like a slow death, because a lot of people were
Very
trampled
painful.
over. Yes, and a lot of people couldn't breathe. So in the end, I think there were a lot of people who had like heart attacks, and some people could be revived, some people couldn't be revived. So after this incident, we really need to like assess, like, going to these concerts and music
Worth
festivals,
it,
is it
you know?
worth it, and is it really safe? I mean, what can happen if the basically if the crowd goes out of control, and what if the security, they cannot manage the crowd? Because in the last 3 or 4 years, me and Kay have been to like many like music festivals, like especially we love going to Tomorrowland. And that's one of the festivals which is actually really well managed. And even
Mhm.
though there's crowd of millions of people who come all over from all around the world into like Boom, Belgium, to attend that festival, still everything is managed so well. Like right now, if I like think about it, like we
Mm.
felt completely safe, even though there was a lot of crowd. And there was like each and every stage, there were like over 50,000 people to see a DJ, but we felt safe because the crowd was properly managed. But if you go to a festival where something would happen like Astroworld, and things are not managed properly, and then it can really turn deadly. So
Here's the thing for me, right? Because of a few months ago or a few weeks ago, I used to know someone
yeah.
who loved going to festivals, and I didn't understand him, because I was thinking, dude, you talk about global warming, climate change, and how people should listen to COVID rules and everything like that. But yet you're going to festival. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're doing the opposite, because the thing is, like, people, how can they forget COVID? We're
Yeah.
not even we're not even out of it yet. And the organizers, how come they didn't make this COVID safe? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
I think right
Like I
now
think
they are checking the COVID passports or the PCRs. I know it's not still 100% guarantee you will not get the disease, but in many events they do this control.
no, I'm talking about the actual event being COVID safe in a sense that the
Yeah.
way people are sat, a
Yeah.
couple of videos ago, I think we talked about going to the cinema, didn't we?
Yes.
And
yeah.
Ishi, you said that now you have, like, you can't sit next to each other. You have to sit, like, there's a
Yeah.
space in between. How come this festival, people are just allowed to just sit wherever
Yeah.
they are and stand wherever
Yeah.
they are? You know what I mean? It's like, it just doesn't justify
Yeah.
the whole idea of
Mm-hmm.
people being safe,
I think
That's
I
what I'm
think what
saying.
happened in Astroworld, what I was reading, is because they did have like a rapid testing center before like you enter the venue, but
Mm.
apparently nothing was followed. And if you will see all these videos, nobody's actually wearing masks, nobody's actually
Mm.
following COVID
That's what I'm
protocols,
saying.
and that
They
place
should
was so
follow
tightly
protocol,
packed. Yeah, people couldn't
social
even move their
distancing.
hands.
Come
So
on.
you can just imagine, like in the middle of a pandemic, they're actually holding such festivals where nobody is actually following any COVID protocols, and people
Yeah.
actually didn't even die of COVID. They died of, you know,
This
the
is
fact that
another
they couldn't breathe.
interesting point.
Yeah,
That is
I think.
another very interesting point that
Yeah,
you've just
I
made.
mean,
But for me, it just beggars belief. You know what I mean? Like, we're
yeah,
going through, first of all, we've just had the pandemic that shut the whole world down. Okay.
yeah,
And we're just slowly coming out of it. People have lost jobs, lives, and everything like that. It's still fresh, for people like me who've actually, suffered it. You know what I mean? And to actually see somebody set up a festival,
yeah,
Yeah.
or even go to a festival. I'm so sorry. I apologize to anyone that loves going to festivals, but for me, with the COVID thing, I want to wait a little bit.
yeah,
I mean, I'm not a big fan of festivals, anyways. To to start off with, I tend to, if I want to watch anything, I will watch on YouTube or something like this. I don't know, but I will not turn up in person. But I'm a big fan of going to events. Like, I'd go to the opera, I'll go to the ballet, but I'm not sure at the moment, how they're sitting people. So I'm kind of like staying off that and everything.
Mm.
But
yeah,
to have something like that happen, that Astro, that's just
yeah.
people
It's a
who,
tragedy. Like,
it's
yeah,
a tragedy,
because
but it's
yeah,
also very money driven. It's not
yeah,
client driven. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah,
Not
because
was not safety driven, definitely.
yeah.
no, exactly. It was all about making money,
Honey,
which
yeah,
I understand. Yes, people have to make money, but these are very, very wealthy people, anyways, who want
yeah,
to make even more money.
Mm-hmm.
And I read, and I'm not sure, that allegedly the performers were actually inciting the crowd,
yeah,
go
yeah, yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
How can
yeah,
you do that in these
yeah,
times that we live in? I don't
yeah.
understand. I
Yeah.
really
I think
don't. I
I
don't
think the
understand.
performer Travis Scott, I think he has a history of enticing the crowd to basically, not follow the rules and just to, jump over the barriers, not to follow the security. So he has this history. And apparently the people who came in his concert were that kind of rowdy crowd who were like, they're called the ragers. So
Yeah.
they weren't like the ones who were following any rules. So this basically ended up with people who were following the rules, to pay with their lives. Like, there is a kid who's in the hospital who's 9 years old, and he's like in a medical coma, and and one lady who's like 22 years old, he's in medical coma. So I cannot even imagine someone who's close to me and something like this happening. Like, you go to a festival and you come back, you end up in a hospital,
Yes.
and this whole situation
Let me
happened
ask you
so.
a question. Are you still going to festivals after the pandemic?
after what happened like in this
Mhm.
festival, I think I'm going to think like 20 times even before going to a festival, and even actually checking if things are going to be safe, because this
Mm.
phenomenon called the crowd crush, it can actually happen anywhere, you know
Anywhere,
anywhere.
anywhere.
Like if there
Mm.
is like a massive crowd which is gathered at one place, like
Mm.
it can happen anywhere. And this is
Yes.
something which can happen, even if somebody will go for like a like a pilgrimage, it can happen
I
out there.
know.
Yes, so
I
I
know.
think
I
this
just
can
said
happen.
to you, I used to know a few weeks ago somebody who would tell me every so often, I'm going to a festival. I was like, really? You
Yeah,
know, and
Yeah.
he would take his son with him, to the
yeah,
festival. And I just didn't understand it. But obviously I can't comment, but I just thought it, to myself. I was like, okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting thing to do, like in these days that we kind of,
No.
living.
let me ask you a question, Miss B. Would you like go with your kids to the festival now, like, and would you allow them to go after seeing what has happened? Like, do you
You
think it's
want
going
to
to
hear something that will
yeah,
shock you? I've never been to a festival.
yeah.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I've never wanted, because I'm not a big fan of big crowds. I don't
Yeah,
know why. I'm not,
More.
because I've seen festivals, people getting drunk, because I'm British. So imagine
yeah,
Glastonbury and all these kind of people
yeah, yeah,
getting
yeah.
drunk and getting like,
Greenfields is one of the popular one.
yeah, they're getting rained on because we have
Yeah,
like really bad weather, people
yeah,
getting wet. That is just not my thing. That's like my worst nightmare.
yeah,
You know.
I've been to concerts. That I
yeah,
can tell you that. I've been to so many concerts. I went to see Mariah Carey because like my favorite.
yeah,
I've been to watch Madonna. I've been to loads of. I've seen Prince, but it's all been kind of like I'm sitting down and
yeah.
in a proper place,
In a
and
proper
you know,
place. Yeah,
yeah, I've seen Michael Bolton, I think in my bed. So Michael Bolton with my daughter, we saw Sting, but we're sitting down. It's all very kind of, you know, um,
Is it
yeah,
or
elegant. There's
yeah.
nobody kind of doing anything crazy. I think the craziest thing was that we saw with my daughter a couple of years ago. There was Michael Bolton, and it was like some older women, throwing him pants and stuff, and we're like, oh
oh,
my gosh.
well, that's well for your, you know.
Yeah, they were throwing him like knickers and stuff, and that was just so embarrassing.
Uh,
But it's all kind of like people are sitting down
Yeah,
and you're having something to eat and something to drink, so it's not kind of, you
yeah.
know,
it's
uh,
for
It's
control.
it's
controllable. Yeah,
controlled. Yeah,
like
it's
you have a
controlled.
place to sit, and it's all like safety protocols are followed. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
And they're
yeah.
more
So
as well, because in the festival you cannot sometimes even maybe go to the toilet because there is no way to get out from the,
yeah,
but in
yeah, I can't. When
yeah,
I've seen, like, on the news, I've seen, different types of festivals and stuff. I that is my worst nightmare. I can't, to just be mixing with loads of people and they're doing crazy stuff. And
Mm.
some festivals I've seen, the performers have actually crowd surfed. That, oh, the
yeah,
idea of that just makes me cringe. I'm sorry, it's not my thing.
yeah. But
So
Yeah, birthday gift for you. I will cross.
no, I would never go. I would never go. And I would never go. People tell me, "Oh yeah, I'm going to a festival." Okay, great, that's
yeah,
fantastic. But it's not
Enjoy.
for me. The whole crowd thing is not for me. The only place I would go is a concert where everybody's sitting down and they're watching properly, and I'm sitting down. Nobody's coming next to me, and nobody's touch. You see, the other thing is, I don't like being touched,
Well,
by
yeah.
strangers.
Yeah, that's
I'm a,
something you cannot avoid in a festival. Yes,
you see,
definitely.
this is the thing. I don't like being touched. Even when I'm sitting next to a stranger and they like go like this, that I just find it cringe. No, I can't. I can't do it.
never
You know,
go to or a standing concert. Never go because it will be like
I
that.
need to sit down. I need to have a seat, and it has to be in a booth where I can watch quietly with, on my own, or with my whatever, my children, my friends. But I can't sit everywhere with everyone, and they're doing this and stuff. No, that would just drive me nuts. I would go home.
Yeah. I think
So
overall, I have seen that, I have attended festivals in Europe, then I have attended festivals back here in the UAE. Like everywhere, I felt safe. Like I never felt that the crowd was getting out of control because, the safety protocols were followed, the security was there, everything was being controlled. So I feel that whatever tragedy happened recently is because I think one thing is because of the artist, because
yeah,
he's the one who basically
they said
created
that.
this kind of like incited the crowd. And I think second thing is there was no like safety protocols followed. So I think overall we can see that this is something which will not happen in every concert or festival, but still this is like a lesson for all of us that if you are basically want to get closer to the stage, then you need to understand the fact that it will be difficult surely to get out from the from the front, because
You
obviously
know,
are not
bless
properly
you,
managed.
Ishi. Bless you for saying this is a lesson. People forget.
Yeah,
Yeah.
People
yeah,
forget. There
And
will be another tragedy. I can tell you that.
yeah.
People absolutely forget.
Forgets,
You know,
yes.
yeah.
there will be something like this, and we cannot.
Yeah,
Okay, yes, these artists or these artists, because I understand it's two of them, that like, inciting this kind of, violence and stuff like that. But it's not really his fault. It's also the fault of the people who follow this.
people,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
Yeah,
exactly.
of
It's like,
course. It's adult, So
Yeah,
absolutely. It's like, have a brain. Like, why would you do that? And
yeah,
also, so it's a blame on so many levels, the
yeah.
artists, people that follow, and also the organizers,
Organizers, yeah.
yeah,
they have to make sure there's safety measures in place,
mhm.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
try and avoid this strategy. I mean,
yeah.
I read today, a typical example was Adele. Did you hear that a fan fainted and she stopped the concert?
You stop the concert. Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I think I have read that there are many artists, even like Linkin Park, they have stopped their concerts in the middle. There's been many artists who basically see a fan who has fainted, and, they basically make sure that everybody in the crowd is all right before they even continue. I think I read once that Jay-Z is the one who once stopped his concert and asked the crowd to behave before he's, started singing back. So apparently what happened now was just a tragedy on all level, because the artist kept singing even 30 minutes after, people were dying.
He went
So
out.
even if,
He went
yes,
out to
that's
party.
exactly. And he saw someone dying in the crowd and he just kept singing. So this is something I find it hard to believe. Like, how can
But
you,
apparently they do this at his concerts.
yeah,
People get injured, and
yeah, people were fainting like
he
a
gets
common
adrenaline rush from
yeah.
this.
It's really appalling, like, how can this be like something normalized? So it's just really shocking, like, whenever I read this news, I was like really surprised that people actually lost their lives. Like before, I think there have been such incidents in the concerts or festivals, but it was like somebody injured, but I don't think anybody lost their lives. So this is like the first time which is happening in the history of festivals and concert that 8 people have lost their lives and people have ended up in the hospital. So you
I
know
think, in my opinion, I don't know the artist, never met him, don't really care about his music,
yeah,
wouldn't want to listen to his music, but I think he got an adrenaline rush. And the only
rush,
reason he came out, because it became a public outrage. That's
yeah,
the reason why he came out. Because I was reading an article where they pointed out he'd actually posted pictures of people being injured and saying
injured,
how fantastic it was. And when that article actually came out, you could
Crazy.
go on his Instagram and you could actually see the pictures were still there. Maybe he's taken them down since then. But he was told about it and he thought this is how it goes down. And he felt like he did a fantastic, performance, that people died. And he
my
went on
God.
to party, because to say he didn't know, he bloody knew.
Yeah, I also read the
Ridiculous.
article that they are saying that he didn't know, he couldn't notice from the high level, but come on,
His
maybe
people
Yeah,
told him, and he
look,
probably thought, "What? They died? Wow, man!" You know?
yeah, Yeah.
Wow, gosh, this time they died. They died for me, like it's
Yeah.
Jesus, you know?
Now this
And
is,
Yeah.
I think this needs psychiatrist treatment because
Yeah, exactly.
it's too much. I understand you can feel like a god, you are a rock star or a singer,
rockstar, that's the word I was looking for,
of
actually.
course, but definitely
Yeah. And
to lead the deaf and the life, there is like
yeah.
not there is a little bit like too much for this.
And
I
even
know.
I read somewhere that even when the tickets sold out, he tweeted like, "Now we letting the wild ones in." So he was basically enticing his fans to actually break in,
Right.
and that's what actually happened in the afternoon before the concert started. Like I think at 2 p.m., a lot of people who they broke in without even having tickets. So obviously he was like from beginning enticing people to come and create riots and have this rowdy behavior in the concert. So on
This is
this
the thing.
tragedy,
He gets
yeah.
off from this. He gets off from
Exactly.
this. And
Yeah.
probably when somebody told him, well, people have died, he said, what? They've died? This is amazing. You know,
Yeah.
he gets off from this. And the only reason he came out because it was a public outrage. You know, it was a public
Outrage.
outcry, you know,
Yeah.
and it wasn't just in his country. It was global because, you know, we need to know about these things, you know.
The one. I've
Yeah.
I haven't heard about this what you are saying. So this for me it's so shocking.
Yeah, he went to party.
Yeah,
You know, he
Yeah.
went to
He
party
went
and
for a
drinking and
party
everything.
after the concert. Yeah.
Yeah.
no, this
Yeah.
attitude is too much because look, I can understand because even there was like I read this article that there was like a terrorist attack in Ariana Grande concert. So I
Yes,
mean,
in Manchester.
Yeah. In
In
Manchester,
Manchester.
I think that was,
I
yeah,
remember,
yeah.
yes, in Manchester.
that's why I can understand that tragedy may happen, but the way how you react to that tragedy, this is telling all about you because
Yeah.
he cannot control the crowd if they are doing this pushing. Maybe he can just stop the song, that's all, if he noticed, but he cannot do much at that moment. But his reaction after, how I can understand how it may happen like this, that partying and being proud of the deaths.
Yeah,
I don't
for
know if you,
sure.
I think if you're going to read about it, you will even know that there was an ambulance which was in the crowd, and he actually
Oh
saw
yeah,
the
because they
ambulance.
used to put
Yes,
like
he
Red
didn't
Cross or
even
something
stop
like
the
that,
set.
don't
I
they?
mean, you have an ambulance in the middle of your set, and you don't even stop singing. You just carry on. And
No, no. What I'm saying is, Ishi, at every festival they usually have ambulance services,
okay,
just there, ready there,
yeah,
just in case. You see, this is the reason why I don't go because I know so much about these festivals, but I just don't attend them, you know. And I know that for every festival, they always put like ambulance services. It used to be the Red Cross, but now I think it's like just local
yeah,
ambulance services. They just are ready there just for any kind of,
okay.
you know, violence or attack, whatever, you know, they're there. I think it's a requisite, actually. I might be
No,
wrong,
I
but
think
But
yes. I think no, but if you will see the video, the ambulance was actually trying to navigate in the middle of the crowd to reach to someone who was, dead among the crowd. So if
did
you will
they
see the
drop the
video,
girl
there's
or
an
something?
ambulance which is moving. Yes, it's moving in the middle of the crowd.
it's
So basically,
noticed.
yes, yeah, so he noticed it and he just kept singing. So it's like he already knew there is some tragedy which is happening already in the
Of
crowd, and
course,
it's
he's
just
on the
like
stage. You can see what's going down.
Not
it's ridiculous. I mean,
experience it from the stage. Sometimes, depending on the lighting, you cannot see. Just if there
yeah,
is lighting, but if this is what is she saying, the car, the lighting, then of course you must see. Because
see, exactly. And also another thing I have realized in this whole situation is the importance of knowing CPR. Like,
Oh,
the
yes.
people who were in the crowd, they actually said that the medics who were in the concert, they didn't even know the basic CPR. So
Well,
the
that's
people
not
who,
good.
no,
yeah,
it's
so the people who were attending the concert who knew the CPR, they were the ones who were actually trying to revive the dead bodies who were laying in the crowd. So, this is something which I feel is something we should be learning, like at some stage. Like, if
Yeah.
right now
Mm.
who's in distress and if I know CPR, then maybe I can help that person, quickly. So, there is so many things we take for granted. And then, when such tragedy occurs, you
It puts
really need to
everything
know
into, yeah, it puts
basics.
everything into
Yes,
perspective, you know. But
exactly.
the other thing is, look, I understand this guy, this is how he makes his money, and this is how he gets off doing his concerts. But people also need to be responsible, please.
Wow.
People must be responsible.
Exactly.
My goodness, we're just coming out of the pandemic and you're
Pandemic.
going to a
Holy,
concert full of people. What the hell do you think is going to happen?
Yeah,
Always, there's always
exactly.
something crazy happens at these festivals. Always, there's always something crazy,
Always, yeah.
you know.
but
And to me, it sounded like this was like some sort of stampede, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how can the parents of these 14-year-olds allow them to,
Yeah.
I don't know, there's got to be care from all sides, really.
There was like
Anyone
9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, like how
Hmm.
can, and I feel these festivals should have a age limit, like especially
Yeah,
for certain artists, there has to be an age limit. You cannot allow kids to go to such festivals. I mean,
alone.
it's
yes, that's just,
songs, of course.
yeah. I mean, with the kind of lyrics he's singing and, with the kind of crowd it is, it's so unsafe for all the children. And this is what happened. The children were hurt in this tragedy because the people who were shorter were the ones who, who basically died before the people, who were taller, because obviously it's easier for them to escape. So it was actually the short people who were basically, who was sucked in the crowd. That's what they say, so
That is
these
crazy.
places, yes, it should have an age limit. They should have better medics, better security, and people should respect
Apparently,
other
people
people. Like,
apparently they're trying to sue him, but I don't think he should be sued. I think it should be the organizers, if anything, that
Yeah,
yeah,
should be sued because it was their venue. They're the ones who hired him, to
yeah,
actually, host an event there. They should have all the safety measures in place. This
yeah,
is my thought on this. Obviously, I'm not a lawyer. I mean, obviously, he's so rich, people will try, to capitalize on this. Unfortunately, this is the world that
yeah,
we live in.
yeah. I
But
think there are several parties involved who's being sued. I think Live Nation, who held the concert, they are being sued.
mhm.
I think Travis' whole team is being sued. He's being sued. Drake is being sued. So I think there's a lot of parties involved who are being sued. But yes, I think it's fault on all different level. And I think
Mm.
people should learn from this that no matter wherever you go, and if there is a crowd, you have to be careful. Like if there were like some really wise people who actually realized when the crowd became too tight, and they
Mm.
actually escaped at the right time. So those people were actually safe because they were wise enough to understand that it's not really safe to be here. So you rather save yourself than die seeing an artist. Like it's not even
No,
worth
I'm not
losing your
going to
life
die for anyone.
for a
This is
singer.
my
I mean,
thing. I am not
yeah,
dying for anyone. If I die,
exactly.
it's just for me.
Exactly. So this is like
And
a lesson for everyone. Like if
mm,
somebody is going to a place where there's going to be a crowd, you have to be careful. Like
how much was this festival? Do you know, like on price points?
I don't know. I think it was a 2 days festival, and then I think right now they're saying that they're going to refund the ticket money to the people who attended
That's the
the.
least they can do. So, when they have like a 2-day festival, do people stay there or do they have, because in Glastonbury, people have tents and they sleep in tents. I can't.
I
Do
think
it.
it's the
so
same.
if
Yeah,
you
I think it's
like attending concert, you will not sleep in a tent, definitely.
yeah.
I can't. I am so sorry. My tent days are over. I don't want to sleep in a
Yeah.
tent. The only tent I want to sit in is sit in the desert with an
Yeah.
Arab person and have
Tisha,
shisha and have a drink and go home.
I think I have done that once. I slept in a tent in Tomorrowland and I absolutely hated it. Like, I am
No,
not
I
a tent
can't. That
person.
would just be, I would never
Yeah,
sleep. I can tell you that. I would never sleep. I would be the worst tent
exactly.
mate, because I want to leave and go to a hotel.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
And
even with
can't do
me, I
that.
cannot lose my comfort over like, a
No.
festival.
I love my comfort. I mean, I wouldn't mind sleeping in a caravan, which is like a really nice caravan with
Caravan,
loads of
yeah.
space and
Do
stuff
like
like
a
that. But
glamping or something.
glamping,
Yeah.
that would suit me to the T. But the idea of going to shower in like a public shower, oh no, I can't do
oof,
it. I'm
or in
sorry.
the river. You are still luxury camp having like luxury tent. Maybe you can have a shower in the river next to your tent.
No, no. I'm sorry. I can't do all these things that, people do. I can't, because I prefer to shower in the bathroom, closed and,
With hot
closet,
water and clean
with hot water
toilets.
and everything.
Yeah.
Yes. To go a day without showering, I can't do this. I can't. I'm so sorry.
No,
Because I can smell myself and it's not good. So really, what a shocking and what a sad tragedy, and sorry to the families of those people that have actually lost members of their loved ones.
Yeah.
And shame on you organizers, for not making the venue safe for everyone, especially the fact that we are just past pandemic, just getting out, and really everybody, please remember, be responsible, do not go to these fully filled concerts and try not to do crazy things for people who don't even care about you. These people only care about making money,
Yeah.
and that's what it's about, In my opinion, I'm not a big fan of festivals. If anybody like invited me to a festival, it has to be all properly done. I have to have my own space, not mixing with a lot of people, not mixing with anyone. And I'm not interested in going to the stage and dancing and all these kind of things. Now, I'm really not interested. I'd rather stay at home. And if I really, really want to watch the festival, you can pay now. I think on YouTube you can actually pay, or I'm not sure.
Or Apple Music. I think Apple
Apple,
streams a lot of festivals these days. Yeah. So you can.
Yes. So you have that option where you can stream a festival and, online and watch it if you really, really, want to watch your favorite, musician or artist and whatnot. But for me, no, it's not my thing, and it's a fantastic discussion because everybody's talking about this. But just from experience and what I know, people forget. They forget,
Yes, emotions about the concert, some alcohol in your blood, maybe drugs. But many people there, they were also probably using drugs. So
that's another thing. Somebody was injecting people, right?
There is like an information ruling on
but I think that's just a rumor. Apparently, they're saying that they want to like deviate the blame from the organizers, and they are, saying that there was someone injecting people. But I heard that there were people who were doing drugs and who were like drinking heavily. That's what usually happens in these festivals. Yeah. But then
it's another reason I don't go to festivals. Lots of people doing drugs and drinking. No, I'm not interested in this.
Exactly.
I really am not. And the person who I used to know used to tell me, "Oh, but there's no drugs." I was like, "Yeah, okay, that's good."
Yeah, I strongly feel even the artist was on something. Like if you are going to watch the video,
of course, under the influence.
Yes, so you can actually understand why all this went wrong on so many levels. So,
have you ever listened to his music? Have you ever listened to his music? Because I listened to a few lyrics and I was like, switch that off. I told my dad.
Well, a few songs on and off. I think he has his album called Astroworld. So I've heard, but I'm not really a fan of his music.
So
and
depressing.
I think he's just popular because of his girlfriend, who is a Kardashian, and that's why this guy.
But his lyrics are like really offensive and very depressing.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Basically, it's like this in every language, almost all the artists of rap are singing this way. Well, girls, I think we should be finishing very soon.
Yes, that's true. That's very true. So thank you everyone for watching our video. and this discussion is absolutely vital. Don't forget to like our video and don't forget to subscribe. So, we have very interesting conversations, and thank you very much, Ishi, for bringing this, because it's trending right now, and for all the wrong reasons, so
Yeah.
hopefully people be aware and be awake, stop going to fun-filled festivals. If there's less people and security measures in place, then go. All right. So from us, it's bye-bye for now. Until the next time.
Bye.